Crew 232. I heard you guys took a tour of the Grand Canyon on Monday. That's awesome! Did you guys notice that the walls look like they had stripes of different colors on it? Do you think somebody painted them? No, nobody painted stripes on the Grand Canyon. Those are actually layers of sediment. The layers are formed when particles from larger, older rocks get broken off by wind and rain. They are then formed into layers. Each layer gives different information about where, when, and how the sediment was deposited. So those colored layers are actually different layers of sediment. So it's kind of like this. So there's one layer, the rain and the wind and all that stuff broke off all those rocks and deposited all in the bottom of a stream bed or something. So there's one layer. An ocean came by and deposited a bunch of other sediments, rocks, pieces of rock. There's another layer, and then another layer. These are sedimentary layers. The one on the bottom is the oldest. The one on the top is the newest. And guess what you can find in those layers? You can find fossils. You know what a fossil is? Fossil is a dead animal or a plant that got stuck in this layer when all this stuff came by and it got smooshed in and it turned into a rock too. These are some fossils I found when I was in Canada. We go to an island off of Cape Breton. These little marks right here are all shells that were fossilized, and what's left is just this little indentation in the stone. This right here is actually a reed from the bottom of the ocean, and sediment got stuck all around it and fossilized, and this is what's left. So I thought it would be cool if we made our own fossils. So I made up a batch of what's called salt dough. I've left the recipe down below. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna find all kinds of cool stuff. I'm choosing a shell. You could choose a little figure, a dinosaur, whatever you want. And I'm gonna take my shell and I'm gonna push it right into the dough so that it leaves a little indentation. So that's my fossil of my shell. I also tried a couple other things. I tried this crazy figure that I just put in the dough, and see, there's his fossil. And then I also tried a piece of lily of the valley. It doesn't work quite as well, but it's still pretty neat. So now you're gonna have to have your grown-up help you. We're gonna bake these. So you're gonna take your fossil, you're gonna put it on a cookie sheet, okay? And then you're gonna bake them at 200 degrees. Thicker ones might take 2 to 3 hours. Thinner ones might take, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour. And you're gonna bake them until they're dry and hard. And then you can take and paint your fossil. When you're all done with your fossils and they've dried and you've painted them, you could go ahead and make what's called a smash book that talks about your fossil. I did one about my shell, and I made up a name for it, the Abra shell. And then I wrote a little story and gave some details about my shell. For example, where I found it, how long ago it lived, how big it is, where I think it lived at the deep bottom of the ocean, what color it is, and who I think lived in it. So you can go ahead and make a smash book to talk about your fossil. I left a video down below, a link to a video, so that you could make your own smash book. Have fun, Crew 232. It was fun making fossils with you. See you soon. What those are different layers of sediment. They're called is a dead animal or a plant or